look for a bank, choose a partner with local expertise and local decision-making. Veritex Community Bank offers solutions and a true business ally. We look forward to building your future. We're Veritex Community Bank, true to your business, true to Texas.
What's going on, Magic listeners? Up there in Dallas and, of course, right here in Houston. It's KG Smooth welcoming you to week 3 of Veritex Community Bank's Summer School Sessions. And today's topic, we are talking women in business. So I am very excited to bring our panelists up on the stage today. But before I do that, did you know that Texas ranks 3rd among all states for women-owned businesses, boasting nearly 1 million? That number has grown 146% in the past 20 years. So that's nothing to scoff at. Women are definitely winning right now. And I want to bring up to the stage Miss Darlene Ellison, the Senior Vice President of Community Bank Lenders and founder of Women in Business program. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm so good. Thanks for having me.
Indeed. Next, we have Ms. Christine Powell, the Executive Director of the Women's Resource. Welcome, Christine.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And last but certainly not least, Ms. Jennifer Dean, the President of Dean Professional Services. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
Indeed. If you all could just briefly tell us a little bit about yourselves before we start, and we'll start with Darlene.
Well, thank you so much. I think what makes my background a little unique is I didn't start as a banker. My background is actually in psychology. I promise I do have a finance degree, but it's in psychology. So when I came into the banking space as a result of a family situation that left me as a single mom of young children, I needed to be a W-2 employee and came into the banking space and decided that I was going to be a different kind of banker. And so, we'll talk a little bit about some of the things we've done, but it really was about helping women to meeting women where they were, both from an emotional standpoint, an entrepreneurial standpoint, as well as a business standpoint, of course.
Indeed. Thank you for that. Christine, tell us a little bit about yourself and the Women's Resource.
Absolutely. Grew up here in Houston. Quick shout out to the hardworking folks on the east side. Stayed here and attended college, got my undergraduate from U of H and then my master's in public health. And I would say that I think it's always been in me to be a nonprofit. Growing up, my house was affectionately known as the haven for the homeless. I was always bringing in people and animals and everything else. And I think that, everybody has a purpose, and I love seeing people reach their full potential, which is why I get so much joy out of my job as the executive director at the Women's Resource.
Indeed. And the lovely Jennifer Dean. Uh-oh, you're muted, darling.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry. Well, my name's Jennifer Dean. I am the president of Dean's Professional Services for the past 29 years. We provide a customized solution for staffing, staff development, and consulting in healthcare, education, hospitality, mainly on the healthcare side. We have about 1,600 employees. We're in 17 states. And that's what we do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we're actually open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Indeed. Well, thank you all for being here. This is about to be great because, as I said at the intro, women are winning. It is your time. I mean, the man, we have to take a back seat because the truth of the matter is that women are the most highly educated. They are making more money than their parents and grandparents ever did. And they are the number one in starting small businesses and just businesses, period. So with all of that, what is the secret? What is the secret with all of these women starting their own businesses? Anyone, Darlene, you can take that.
Gosh, the secret to them, I think that we're talking about it. I think for a long time you've had women wanting to start businesses and women wanting to take something that they're passionate about and create a business. But I think the time is now. So when you say things, KG, like women are winning now, I think our time is now. And it's easier. I mean, women like the women here on the panel we're mentoring and we're partnering with women who want to find their way in the entrepreneurial space. And, for me personally, it's my calling to be a banker for these women. And so that there isn't intimidation, where they're not afraid of asking a question and just creating a space. It's just our time.
Yeah, it is. And so with that, what was it that wanted you to start Women in Business Networking Group?
Well, as I mentioned, with my background, it's a little strange. And so I had actually been an entrepreneur most of my professional life. And so when I wanted to do something special in the community and, giving back, we're a community bank. So you want to do something that actually impacts your community. And when I looked at where the gaps were, I really felt like there was a gap in terms of meeting the needs of female entrepreneurs and women in business. And both as a banker, both as an emotional support, as a sounding board, I wanted to be all those things. And so really creating the Women in Business, we started with creating networking socials that met the lives of a busy entrepreneurial woman. This is a woman who may be a single mom, a woman who may sit on 3 boards, a woman who may be taking care of her aged parents, and a woman who's just trying to build her business. And so we created something that, I wanted something that was inclusive, definitely inclusive, that was different, something that was fun and intentional, and then something that focused on building relationships as opposed to just getting leads. So, make friends first and the business will follow is the mantra of the group. And we've been going for 15 years now.
Wow, that's amazing. So, Christine, can you talk about what you do at the Women's Resource and how you help women get a hold of their finances?
Absolutely, yes. Well, at the Women's Resource, we believe that women who control their finances control their destiny. And so we think that every woman needs to show up in her life like she is running a business. She needs to be the CEO, the CFO, the COO of her life, and in particular of her finances. The CEO sets the vision. Nobody else can do that for you. You have to do that for yourself. The CFO, he accounts for every single penny that goes out the door. You want to set a CFO's head on fire, you show up at the end of the month without receipts for the year and your reimbursements. And then the COO, who's just making sure you use your resources efficiently. Do you need to buy this? Is this the best price you can get on something? And so, unfortunately in our community, the face of poverty is all too often that of a woman, often that of a single mother. And so at the Women's Resource, we want to inspire financial change. And we do that by walking alongside women as they repair their finances, repair their credit, get out of debt, learn how to budget and live within their means. We have classes that are going on year round, but we also have coaches who, I like to say are part accountability partner and part cheerleader, who will, you set the financial goal, and then we bring, the pom-poms and the belief in you that you can achieve whatever it is that you set out to do.
Nice. It sounds like the Women's Resource is a real resource, hence the name. Nice. Jennifer, tell us about starting your business. Did you have access to capital, and what were some of the steps that you took to get started?
Well, the answer is no, I did not. I had a nice presentation that I took to a bank that was down the street from my house, and he liked the graphic design, so he gave me a $5,000 line of credit, which was gone probably in a month. But no, I didn't. I worked hard, and I had American Express Don't Leave Home Without It, and I tried my best to manage that. But that's how I started. 93 was different than 2021, but I will tell you, it does take a lot of determination, and you have to ask. You can't be afraid to ask. You got to get out there and say, hey, I think I can make a difference. And I think showing up and showing out is how you do that. Always show up.
That is I think that's the start. I mean, you have to believe in yourself and the vision that you have in order for it to manifest fully. So what would you say is the secret to starting a business?
Well, I think you have to have a great deal of determination. I can't tell you this is the business I would have chosen for myself, but I think I'm in my purpose, which brings me a great deal of peace, and I live with a lot of passion. So I think that I call them my 3 Ps. I think you have to have that in order to be determined to make it through. Starting and having stick-to-itness, that's not a word, I made it up, but having stick-to-itness to get through it, those are different things. And I think women have a great deal of stick-to-itness. There's something about us that says we can do it. I know we can. We support each other that way. But I think the secret is making sure you're the expert at what you do and surround yourself with a great banker, a great CPA, and a great attorney so that they can do what they do best. And they keep you aligned. And I think you can be a great deal more successful when you try to do what you do best and allow others to do what they do best.
So what would you say would be the, what is required for success?
That's a great question. And I think it's different per person. But I will tell you, for me, I look at, you got to work hard. You got to be determined to work hard. You got to put it in perspective. My perspective is God, family, then work. That's my perspective. And when I keep those things in perspective, I'm much more successful than when they're out of whack. I live in Houston. I often tell people I didn't realize that 610 was a loop until I got on it. And I had no clue. And again, I'm from Arkansas, so bless my darling heart. But, when you get on that loop and you start traveling, one of the things you need to know is which exit to take. And I think that if you have a plan and you work your plan, you're able to, simply take the exits necessary. So you don't have to go for such a long time, because I can promise you people are looking at you for some form of leadership. And when you get on that loop and you keep driving, you can run out of gas, have a flat, or folks in the back seat just think you know what you're doing. So hard work, determination, having the ability to understand that it is a great deal of sacrifice. And you have to be willing and ready to do that. This is probably my half child. I can say that 29 years of being in business is a long time. So, this would be my youngest child.
Nice. Darlene or Christine, would you like to, weigh in on that, or, underscore what Jennifer said?
I would throw in that, we have, 3 women who are, great supporters of women. And I think that it's up to us, whether, you're leading your business, leading in the community, to create a culture of support and mentoring. Because sometimes, I'll have women who say, I'm not sure if I want to come to the networking. Women are so cutthroat, or women are not that supportive. And I'm like, then you're going to the wrong place, because women are. And it's up to us in leadership. And just you by having this show today and with this theme, is to create a culture of support, a culture of mentoring, a culture of partnerships.
Yes. Christine, did you want to add anything, or?
I would just echo, surround yourself with people.
It's okay. All right. What are the 3 Ps again, Jennifer, that you said?
The 3 Ps are purpose, passion, which gives you great peace. Those are my 3 Ps.
Passion, which gives you great peace.
Yes, they do. If you live in your passion, you will find great peace, and you'll know it because you'll have that peace.
Indeed. I want to go to, last night I went live on a Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and asked my women audience some questions. And boy, did they come with it. So this is from Marva. Marva asks, how do you deal with clients who only want your ideas, but they don't want to pay your cost? Well,
for me, my qualifying is I'm looking for a partnership. So I don't think I should work with everyone. So I will certainly say goodbye. If it's not a good partnership, it won't be a good relationship. If it's not a good relationship, there's no reason to pursue it, because relationships are what grow business. To me, I'm probably not your best salesperson, but I like developing relationships, which build the sales for you. So I think that would be my answer to that question.
Mm-hmm. I think she would love us, because we don't charge a dime for anything that we do.
Hey, how about that?
So give us a call. call. We want to help you. We want to be there for you, and we want to walk alongside you.
Nice. Darlene, you wanted to add anything?
I would just say that, I tell people when they're talking to me about banking and what makes you different than everybody else. And I usually respond, a checking account is a checking account is a checking account, but I'm a relationship banker, not a transactional banker. So by that, I mean, I want to be there with you. I want to grow with you. I want to educate you. I want to answer your questions. I want to walk with you on your journey of growth in your business, as opposed to running a transaction and handing you off to the next banker. So.
Nice. This one is from Marilise. She asks, how do you redesign your business model in a way that does not give away too many ideas or IP prior to signing contract or receiving a payment? Redesigning your business model in a way that doesn't give away too many ideas to signing a contract or receiving a payment.
I'll just jump in here because it's interesting. When I started out in the banking space, I used to actually read, business plans, muddle through them, and I found in my becoming more seasoned and focusing on relationships that I found a lot more. I'd rather somebody just give me a memo, a bullet point, a thumbnail sketch, and then sit down and talk to me, because in engaging with me so much more, I've signed plenty of non-disclosures, but at the end of the day, it really is the conversations. And I feel like it's very in the box thinking, especially if you're talking to a banker and they only want to see your business plan and they don't want to have a conversation with you. They just want to see your nuts and your bolts and your financials, which we'll look at that stuff later. But I want to know you. I want to know your passion. I want to know why you created this business. And so for me, that would be, the biggest thing.
Indeed. I'm curious to know, how do we get women into more leadership roles? Because, it seems as though the opposite is still, at the top. So how do we get women into more leadership roles? Because things tend to, from my experience, run a little more smoother and in order when a woman is leading.
Well, I think first they have to be offered. So I'll start there. But I also think, we're just made up differently. And I think we have to appreciate and understand who we are. Being a great coach is, it's very different than being a great manager. And I think you have to start to appreciate and understand the makeup of a woman and how we work. And I think that's really important. So for me, I think first we need to start offering, we need to start redesigning things that work accordingly. And I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like on the flip side of that, as a part of that response, because that's excellent. And I think that too, I mentor a lot of young women who are college age talking about, their future. And I tell them, I said, sometimes the television, the news will tell you that everyone's against you. No one's ever going to pay you enough. No one's ever going to offer you a leadership position. And 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we told young women, pull your chair up to the table. And the message has changed, because your chair up at the table does nothing if you're not speaking. So find your voice, share your voice, ask the questions, ask for that leadership position, share your intent, and just say, this is what I plan. This is my future with your company.
Right. You got to speak it as if it's already happened.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't just ask for a seat at the table. Ask for a voice when you sit down at the table.
Hey, that part, Jennifer. Can you say it again for the people in the back in the balcony?
Don't just ask for a seat at the table. Ask for a voice when you sit at the table. You got to sit down and you got to have a voice. Silence won't work.
I love that so much. Shanika is asking, what is one piece of practical advice you would give to someone that's starting out? Anyone?
Have a plan. Set a plan. Have a business plan. Be able to share and articulate your business plan. Have a short a short understanding of what you're trying to accomplish. What is your business? It shouldn't take you too long to talk about it. So what is your business? And have a really good business plan. When people come to me and say, can you mentor me? Can you walk? I always ask, what's your business plan? What's your purpose? What's your plan? What is your passion for this business? What are we trying to accomplish? And I think that starting there it's really important, because the clarity is, if you can see it and you can put it together, you could probably explain it to somebody else. So you can't come without anything. It needs to be clean and seamless and extremely professional. I think that's really important.
Definitely. And you want to have the right people in your corner. I think, Jennifer, you had mentioned about the right people in your corner. You don't want to build the airplane while it's flying. You want to have the CPA and the lawyer and the banker, and you want to have those people in your corner. You want to share those thoughts, share those ideas, because they will help you formulate that plan and massage it into something that will grow and build.
Indeed. Christine, if you could share, like, what is the top thing that one must do in order to start a business?
Well, I think the most important thing is to take control of your own financial house first.
Ooh, that part.
The important part. I mean, if you can't control your personal finances, then it's going to be so hard to control your business finances. And you have to approach it with the same mentality.
Amazing.
Well, and I see so many women who have the potential, should be starting their own businesses, and they just can't right now because they have such low credit scores and they're stuck. And so really take control of your finances.
Indeed. Does Women in Business Networking Group, do they offer coaching on how to create a business plan?
I love that question, because, our organization, it was founded to create mentoring. And again, it's about that whole culture, how women feel and when they engage with each other, and back to the mantra of make friends first and the business will follow. So one of the things we try and do is, when somebody's newer to the group, help them find somebody that may be either in a like industry or be maybe a few years ahead of them in creating their entrepreneurial endeavor, and create these natural mentorships for women, as opposed to a standard coaching model, because there's so many wonderful coaching options out there for women. This is more of an informal mentorship that we'll just put together as they attend events.
Nice. So Jennifer, this one is for you. Is it better to create an LLC or sole proprietorship?
I think it depends on the business. And again, I don't make those type of decisions. I have people that I sit down with and ask, what should I do here? And I'm not that, I'm not that person. I believe it depends. I have an S Corp and a C Corp. I look at the tax advantages of each. I sit down with those that are in that field, and I talk through what would be best for this. I mean, I have a nonprofit. It's very different than my for-profit business. So I think you should sit down with someone who's an expert at that and say, here's what I'm trying to accomplish and how do I get there? Because it may be very different for, someone in a service business or a tangible item, something you're actually selling. So you should get some advice on which way you should go. And I seek that advice often because things change, taxes change, the advantage for companies change, and you certainly want to know what your advantages are overall. So that's my answer for that. I think you have to look at each business and you have to seek out the experts to find out what's best.
And so the follow-up is, what are the pros and cons of, and anyone can take this, what are the pros and cons of an LLC versus sole proprietorship? And that was from Shanice.
Yeah, as a banker, I get asked this a lot, and I always will say, I'm not an accountant. I don't be. But one of the things we do is, when we talked about the women in business, is try to find out what their needs are, what their passion is, what the business is about, and then match make them maybe to a couple of options. I always like to give a couple of options of maybe women that are in the group or women I've done business with that might be a best fit for their company. And then I share the information and have them then call and interview that accountant or that bookkeeper and see what's the best fit for them.
Okay. And speaking of Veritex Banks, Marilise had a question for Veritex Bank. Does the bank deal in international trade finance?
I am in the business banking, community banking group, so I'm not sure that I am equipped to answer that. We are a Texas-based bank. That's our friends in Houston and Dallas. Certainly, I'm happy to chat with anybody offline if they want to reach out to me when they go to the website. My information's there, and I can ask a few more questions and then see if maybe there's a fit. But, I'm happy to, again, it's about education and conversation, so I'd welcome the conversation.
For sure.
Thank you.
What about I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. So ladies, for young women who are looking for mentors in this realm, what would be a great way to seek out a mentor?
Well, I know I can say as part of our Women in Business group, one of the aspects of the program is actually a summer internship program. And it is matchmaking of women, female entrepreneurs with these young women who are entering their sophomore, junior, or senior year of college. And the unique aspect of it is it's not just about an industry, it's about broadening their horizons. So for instance, if you're getting a degree in accounting or in finance and you're like, okay, here's my plan. These young women are saying, well, I'm going to work until I decide to have a family or until and we're here to show them what it looks like on the other side of the rainbow where, did you realize you could do these 25 things with that degree you're getting right now? And so it's really that type of mentorship. And, we'll do everything from help them with their resumes to give them real life experiences. I will say I've even had a situation, I've been doing the internship program for 15 years. I will never forget the time that one of our wonderful mentors got a phone call. Her son had broken his arm in summer camp. And so she texted me and said, are we okay? Because I got to take the intern with me to go to the ER with my son. And I said, this is how we do it. This is how women run businesses. It's our reality. Absolutely take the intern. And so they did.
Absolutely. I mean, because you all are so multifaceted, and it even amazes me how you can juggle it all with being a mom, being a wife, going to school, or running a business. Like, I mean, you all are superheroes. I don't even know how else to put it because it's so much, and most of you women handle it flawlessly. So big ups to you for that. Rosie Rodriguez is asking, LLC versus corporation. Which one should I do? Should I be an LLC or should I be incorporated?
We need an accountant in the room.
Yeah. I think you should ask an accountant.
Yeah, we'll skip that one.
That has an understanding of that. I will tell you one thing about just going back to the mentorship. I think you should look for somebody who's going to be honest and direct. Don't skim over anything, and would allow you to see what really happens in the reality of running a business, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Indeed. Let's go to the comments. I mean, the comments are lighting up over here, and some of the ladies have questions. My daughter, Chelsea Hershey Kiss Miller, is interested in starting her own company. Does she need both a DBA and or an LLC? Can you share links to what is needed?
I can't tell you which one she should have. I can tell you, because my bottom line is, what's it going to take to get a bank account? And so we have these wonderful women in business bank accounts, but there are certain things you have to have in order to have a bank account these days. So DBAs, which is an assumed name certificate, those can be filed with your county. And so, for instance, I can be Darlene Ellison doing business ads with my name. And those are pretty quick and inexpensive, and you can get one of those, or you can file it with the Secretary of State, especially if it's a DBA of an LLC.
Okay.
But I will also say, because this seems to be a very reoccurring question, that one of the things that we do at the Women's Resource is we're really great at connecting people with the resources that they really need in the community. And it sounds like a lot of the listeners could really benefit from visiting the SBA, Small Business Association's website. They have an amazing women's center, actually, that's full of entrepreneurs and leaders who will help and guide you as you develop a business plan. They have classes all the time that are free in the community. And so I would suggest, going to that website and looking at resources also there.
Awesome. Marcy is asking, are small business classes a necessity prior to growing a business?
My answer is, I didn't have any classes, so I would say it's not necessary, but it probably would help to understand your growth process, your key performance indicators, the things that matter. And if you feel like that's something you need, I would suggest you certainly take classes that would benefit you.
Right. And she said, I'm having some issues with marketing and establishing business credit for my skincare products. Any suggestions, any advice for her on that?
Well, it's kind of two questions, because it's marketing and then establishing
business credit. Right. Well, let's go with your expertise, Darlene.
Yeah, so I'm probably not going to speak on the marketing, but I will talk about, one thing that I found when I first entered the business, the banking space as a woman, was women had a lot of great questions, like we're getting here this evening, and they were afraid to ask a banker, or they tried to ask a banker and they'd be told something like, maybe you want to bring your husband or your dad in to really understand the numbers, or that type of thing.
Well, that's condescending.
Yes, back in the day. And so one thing I love to do is to learn more about their business, learn more about what they're trying to accomplish, learn more about where they are right now, and then talk to them about some of their options. And, if there are no financing options in the traditional bank, there are always some different micro lending options and things that I like to share those resources with them. I know the other two ladies on here have a gazillion resources, I'm sure. And then talking to them about some maybe less common financing options, like when you do cash secured or angel investing to secure a line of credit. So those are conversations that I have found in my years that a lot of traditional bankers are not having those conversations. Doesn't mean that doesn't exist. It just means they're not really having those conversations. And I love small businesses and love chatting with women. And I always say the education is free. So if you just want to call or email me and ask me a question, I'm all over it.
Indeed. I have another question from Kay, who asked last night, do you recommend using a trade line when starting a business? And if so, how do you go about getting it started? Is that something that you all can answer, or that's another?
Trade line.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Yo, they were shooting. They were coming with it. I was trying to type as fast as I could.
I was going to Google trade line and figure out.
I was about to do it too.
Oh, wow.
That's
so what about your business having a mission statement? Someone is asking, should your business have a mission statement?
I have a mission statement for my business, and I wrote it myself when I started in business. I require my employees to learn our mission statement in 7 days. I don't want it on the wall. I don't want it in their cubicle. I want it to be something that they can just automatically say, this is what we do. And our mission statement is really important because it gives a sense of direction and a philosophy about our company. Our goal is to give 150% and never settle for 100%. They should know that. Go above and beyond. Our clients are the reason we're in business. They're the boss and we dance to the beat of their drum. I don't care how they memorize it. I care that they know it. And I care that they're able to tell a client immediately, this is what we do. You're the boss and we dance to the beat of your drum. And it's very simple. It's not a lot of words, but it means a lot because you have to learn that that's our goal. That's our philosophy over and over again. So we learn that. Actually, we stand up and say it. Once we have been acclimated to the process, they have to know it. And I am a stickler for it. You must know the mission statement because I will stop you in the hallway and say, what's our mission? And they have to say it.
Nice.
I think that's really important too, because, the mission statement is the what's your why. And, I know, KG, you mentioned a while ago, you women can do so many things at the same time and be so great at it. And, it's funny about women who are entrepreneurs, they have like 23 ideas that they're going to have. And this business is going to do all these things. And you've got to narrow down the what's your why. And that's what your mission statement is. And to know who you are, but even more importantly, to know who you are not. We're not, sometimes it's an apples and oranges. So I'm not trying to be this person over here. Here's my why. Here's who I am. Here's what I'm not. So we're leaving that out.
For sure.
I feel like without a mission statement, I'd be on the loop every day. No direction. I'd have to buy one of those maps that we used to buy at the store, and you could unfold it, but you could never fold it back, and it took up the entire windshield. No sense of direction. A mission gives you a sense of direction, and in order to do this and do it well, you have to have a sense of direction, and everybody else you're leading must follow that direction.
Absolutely. Oh man, how do I say her name? Chantel. It's spelled different. She said, should you start your business with a partner or by yourself?
I am 100% owner of my company and have been for 29 years. So I have no partners. But I was advised at the very beginning by my attorney, 100% don't change that. And I've stuck to it all my years. I think it's different for everybody, and I think it depends on the business that you're in. But that was my advice based on my business, and that's what I did.
For sure. Christine, you want to chime in? I haven't heard from you in a minute.
I have to agree with Jennifer. I think it's situational based, but starting out is difficult, and to be able to have a clear vision that's yours and you feel complete ownership with. It would be hard for me to imagine, being able to share that with somebody in the very beginning. Yeah,
I agree.
And make sure you have a really good operating agreement in place for a partnership agreement. And, it's interesting this day and age, just a little nugget of wisdom. So to get bank accounts now, you have to have an operating agreement in place if there's a partnership. And one thing that we saw so much in the last 10 years is where there'd be a spouse who had the business and they would name the other spouse as a managing member. And y'all, the ladies are all shaking. They know what I'm about to say. Even if you're married to the partner, you need to have an operating agreement.
Well, I know that's right. Well, listen here, ladies, this was very informative. Like, we really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and your scholarship. Any final remarks you want to leave for the audience? We'll start with you, Darlene.
Well, I just want to let folks know again, they can go to veritexbank.com. There is a Women in Business link, a page on there. And we have 2 Dallas organizations for Women in Business networking socials. You're welcome. But here's the big news for all my Houstonians. We're actually going to have Houston area Women in Business launching in October. So nice. I would love to hear from folks. If you want to be added to that invitation list, just shoot me an email and I'll make sure that happens. So I'm really excited about doing this in Houston.
For sure. Christine.
All right. Well, I would say, one of the magical things about the Women's Resource is that every single class that we teach in the community is taught by a volunteer. So if you've heard about what we've done today and you're inspired and you want to help other women achieve their financial goals, visit our website. If you want to take one of our classes, visit our website. If you want to meet with one of our financial coaches, we typically work with, our coaching clients for a year as they turn around their finances. And so we're here for you, and we hope you will join us on this amazing journey.
Indeed. And Jennifer, final remarks.
Well, I would like to say, I believe that if God gives you a dream, you can achieve it. I just think it's time and space, and you can move through it. But remember, who you are around is who you become. Chaos breeds chaos, and mess just loves mess. So what you have to do, you have to choose to say, I'm going to be my best today, and I'm going to work through my day, and then my week, then my month. And the small successes really do matter. So look forward, never look back. You can't change what happened, but you can certainly do something about where you're going. That's my last comment.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much for coming on for Veritex Community Bank's summer school sessions. Make sure that you click on all of my Facebook Live and YouTube Live family in Houston and Dallas. Click on the Veritex Bank link and mark your calendar. Next Thursday, 6 p.m., we are back at it again with summer school sessions. Next week, we're going to be talking building small businesses. So if you have started your small business or your business is going, we're going to help you build it even more next Thursday at 6 p.m. Darlene Ellison, Christine Powell, and Jennifer Dean, thank you all so much for coming on. My incredible panel of super women. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
And to all of the viewers and listeners, thank you for tuning in to Veritex Community Bank's summer school sessions. And we will see you next Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on Facebook Live and YouTube Live.
When you look for a bank, choose a partner with local expertise